What a day. What a day, YouTube. You can see it on my face. I had a rough day today. I had a really rough day today. It was supposed to be my first official day back from being on home time. I was on home time for about a week. They called me about 8 o'clock last night. They offered me a run from Johnstown, Pennsylvania to Aberdeen, Maryland. I had to deadhead like 200 miles to get it, and then it was another 220 miles to drop the load off, and all miles were paid. And so basically what that is usually the company offers that. If you have a lot of deadhead and not a lot of loaded miles, they usually offer where they'll add up the deadhead and the loaded, and then they'll pay you just based on that as if it was, one whole trip. So in that case, they paid me for 425 miles. The pay was about $370 or so. So they called me there, or at that time, I had to be in Johnstown by 7 in the morning. And that's where the trouble started. Now, as you can see here, the screen is kind of fuzzy, and I'll explain how it's like that, right? I'll explain how the phone got like that in a little bit. So I went ahead and I accepted the run, of course. I had two ways to get there from Buffalo. I could have took the turnpike. I could have took that, or the toll road, I guess, however you want to call it. I could have took that to the 79, which was in Erie, and then I could have shot down to 79 to right about outside Pittsburgh, and I could have cut over. I would have been cutting over for probably about 60, 70 miles. The total trip that way was 270 miles. It was about 4.5 hours. The other option, which saved me 40 miles, or 40 to 50 miles, and it was the same amount of time, is if I would have went just straight down to 219 in Buffalo, which is around Orchard Park, New York. I told my wife the whole time until I left that there was no way I was going to take this 219. I was just going to pay for the extra gas money, and I was going to just pay for the extra miles. That's what I was going to do. Well, right before I got ready to leave, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to take the 219. I'm going to save the 40 and 50 miles, and I'm going to save that in gas. Bad mistake. First of all, it was snowing. And if any of you know the 219 from Buffalo, it starts off about 20 miles straight freeway. That was okay. But once I got off that freeway and started taking the 219 through the little country roads, it got rough quick. Couldn't even see the road sometimes. So later on, I stopped at a place in Home, Pennsylvania. I can't remember the name of the place, but I stopped there, pulled over just for a few minutes, just so that I could, stretch, kind of refresh a little bit, what have you. I took my phone out, scrolled through Facebook for a minute, put it in my pocket. Okay, got in the van, kept moving. I got about maybe 5 minutes away from my drop, and I was about 50 minutes from the gas station. I realized I didn't have my phone. And the way I knew I didn't have my phone, because on my van's dashboard, it said my phone wasn't connected. So, luckily enough, there was these nice older men, just opened it up, their little gas station. So they let me use their phone, try calling it, wasn't in the van. So I went ahead and picked up the load, 10 minutes away. Tried to backtrack to 50 minutes, and the way I tried to do that was I tried to put in the address going back to my house. Avoid tolls. I figured the GPS would take me back the same way. Well, it didn't. It ended up passing up the place by 25 miles. So once I found out, that they had my phone at the gas station, had to turn around, had to come back. Came back, got the phone, screen shattered, which is why you see the blurriness on the phone. Highly upset, but couldn't blame nobody but myself. Now, my wife, when she talked to the gas station, she asked if they could go out there and get it. She even told it pinged it all the way down, because she pinged my phone to figure out where it was at. It pinged it down to the exact pump it was at. They would not go out and look for it. So I said, whatever, I'll just let it be. So now I got a shattered screen. So needless to say, I haven't had a really good day. I ended up delivering to an army base. That in itself was stressful, because I got there about 3:45 and I unloaded like at 5:15. That's just how much security they had there. I had to be escorted like 2 or 3 times. And I mean escorted deep into this base. So got that unloaded. Now I'm sitting in a Walmart parking lot. Well, I was gonna go get a phone, but I'm gonna wait till Friday so I could at least try to get the same phone I have now, which is a Motorola G. I really enjoy this phone, but I don't like it when it's cracked. But regardless of all that, that was my little rant. What I did want to talk about in this video, real quick, is ways that you can connect with your loved ones back at home. Okay, now, many of you know I have a wife and I have a 5-year-old daughter. This is my second stint being out on the road. I did it when my daughter was 1, now she's 5. I just came back out, as I said, earlier this morning. And for those of you that have families that are doing this, whether if it's, trucking or expediting, keeping in contact with your loved ones means the world, because they don't see you for 3+ weeks at a time. And for some, it's very difficult to deal with that. And I won't lie, it's difficult for me to deal with it, because I didn't want to leave, the house today. But there are ways that you can connect with your loved ones to make it seem as if you are there, to make it a little bit easier. One of those ways, that we do is that we use an app that should be pre-installed in most newer Androids called Google Duo, D-U-O. I'll leave the link in the description for that. But it basically allows you to video call, somebody that has the app. There's that. There's, you have Skype out there, which we don't use. And there's several other apps out there. There's Messenger for Facebook. If you have, Messenger, for Facebook, you can use that as well. I know a lot of people, that I know, a lot of people don't even have Messenger installed, because it does take up a lot of space. But, all in all, it's different ways that you can use just besides simply talking on the phone. Because talking on the phone really only goes so far. Because you have to understand, too, that when you're out on the road, life does pass you by. Life at home, I should say, passes you by. Life doesn't stop because, you are on the road. Your kids is going to grow up. Your kids are going to go through things, and most likely you won't be there. So to be able to see that video of your child, of your spouse or significant other, as they go through these different changes, to be able to see that, it does help, the situation with you being out on the road, for so long. And it's that connection that you simply can't get just by talking on the phone. You know, so those are different little ways, you know, Google, you know, Facebook Messenger, Skype. And I'm pretty sure there's a few out there that I am missing. But for those of you that want to get into expediting that have families, it is possible. You know, it is possible to make it work. Is it easy to deal with? Definitely not. You know, even with me. Like I said, this is my second time being out here. It is not any easier than the first time. It can work. You just utilize those things, you know, do some video chat. You know, talk on the phone, do some video chatting, do Snapchat, you know, do whatever it takes to get that interaction, that feel as if you know, as if you are there. Because it will mean the world to, you know, to your people, you know, at home. You know, just keep in constant contact with them. Keep, you know, call, you know, every day. You know, make sure they hear your voice, you know, because it does get lonely out here. And, you know, my wife, she says I bug her to death by calling her several times a day. But she understands that if I ain't talking to her, then I'm not really talking to anybody else. So, you know, do remember that, you know, do some video chat, you know, just talk. You know, just talk like you normally would, and things should be easy there. I don't want to make this video too long. I know the first half of it was my rant, but I really wasn't having a good day. The day went a lot longer than it should have, because my plan was to pick up this load at 7 in the morning and to drop it off. Well, I had appointment time, so I couldn't drop it off no sooner than 2 o'clock. But my plan was to be there at 2 and then be out by 3. And then I didn't get out to 2.5 hours later. So, you know, definitely not thrilled about that. But needless to say, I'm more likely done for the day. I said I'm at Walmart. I got to go 15 miles up the road to Pilot. Gonna catch me something to eat from Denny's. And then catch me a shower. Because I won't lie, I stink. But until next time, YouTube, take care. Be safe for you drivers that are out there. Stay warm because I know it's cold. And take care, folks.